In the past, I thought loving my partner meant giving everything. But the more I gave, the more invisible and exhausted everything. Have you ever found yourself doing all the emotional labor and holding the relationship together, or constantly trying to prove you're enough? Then this video is for you. Today, we're going to talk about something most women don't even realize they're doing, that is, losing yourself with men or in your relationship. And the real reason behind this might surprise you. There was a time that I thought love meant doing and being everything for your partner. I was the emotional rock, I was the therapist, the cheerleader, the giver, and somehow I still felt if I spoke up and said what I really wanted, it would be too much. I didn't realize it at the time, but I wasn't loving. I was abandoning myself and my relationship. You've played nice, you've played small, you've followed all the damn rules, and now you're freaking done. This is for the woman who's done shrinking herself to be chosen. This is where you stop overgiving, stop second guessing, and start becoming the truest, freest, most badass version of yourself. Let's get into it. And I see this all the time with my clients. They're driven, they're emotionally intelligent women who don't think of themselves as people pleasers or that they're even shrinking, but they're stuck in this loop of overgiving, overfunctioning, and not speaking up for what they really want and need. And they secretly hope that their worth will finally be seen. Here are three signs you're overgiving without realizing it. You feel anxious when you're not fixing, supporting, or helping. Okay. In that relationship with my ex fiance, we would go out and get a bunch of groceries. It's like $300 worth of groceries. And I would be the one automatically, I would do this on autopilot and just start putting everything away. Everyone else is watching TV, enjoying their time, kicking their feet up. They're relaxing. And here I am, an hour later, finishing putting up the groceries. I realized that I was the only one doing all the work while everyone else was relaxing. I was exhausted, doing everything, cleaning up, and then I was angry and resentful. I was doing all the work and not asking for any help. And it's like I just couldn't sit down. I was so used to being the one, always being on and supporting and holding everything together, being the strong one. Number two, you feel responsible for how others feel, especially your partner. So when they go upset, do you go into fix it mode? There was a time I felt love meant giving and sacrificing and putting my relationship first. I believe that if I could just give enough, do enough, hold everything together, I'd finally feel love and get my needs met. I did all the emotional work. I coached him through his moods. I made excuses for his distance and I ignored my needs so I wouldn't be too much. I didn't see it at the time that it was self abandonment. I thought it was actually love. But the more I gave, the more invisible and exhausted I became. And that's when I realized I was overdoing, overgiving, overthinking so much that I lost myself. I just gave and gave and gave. And when it wasn't reciprocated, I started questioning my own worth. I think this is a very, very common story that happens to all women. We give so much that we just lose ourselves. I finally woke up when I looked in the mirror one day and I saw just how exhausted I really was from being everything to everyone and ignoring myself. I realized I was putting my relationship first at the detriment of myself and how I was only receiving crumbs in return. And when I realized this, everything changed. And I want to show you that today. Somewhere along the way, we learned that love had to be earned, not just received. That being strong, selfless, and always available made us good and maybe even lovable. We were praised for helping and fixing and being there for everyone, even if it meant ignoring our own needs and abandoning ourselves. But real love doesn't require you to disappear. It doesn't demand you stay quiet, be perfect, or put in constant effort. Overgiving isn't love, it's a pattern that helps you to feel safe in your relationship. Because if you're giving, right, you're making others happy, you're putting them first, then they won't be upset with you and they probably will leave. This is like what we believe at a deep, deep level, okay? But this means you're doing all the work exhausted. We're pretending we're happy, pretending everything is okay, but we're not. We're smiling while the anger just builds and builds and builds and turns into resentment, and you may be just receiving crumbs in return for all that hard work. This is why it feels so much easier to give love than to receive it. When you're used to being the one to do most of the work, it's much easier to give and sacrifice than it is to be vulnerable and actually speak up for what you want, need, and let it in. Overgiving, overdoing is not generosity. It's not love. It's your body saying, if I do more, maybe I'll be chosen. If I meet all his needs, he'll meet my needs and I'll feel safe. You're not needy or messed up. Okay. You're showing up this way to feel safe. Your body learned to equate love with effort, self sacrifice, and proving your value. And when that becomes familiar, healthy love can feel foreign and boring. Number three, you don't share your needs or emotions because you don't want to make things worse. Do you suffer in silence and put a smile on your face, pretending everything is okay, right? You don't say what you need for fear that you'll push him away or that he'll think you're needy or too much. Overgiving is how successful, driven women self abandon without ever even noticing they're doing it. And when you're abandoning yourself, you will lose yourself. And here's what I want you to know: you don't have to earn love through exhaustion or overgiving or self sacrifice. Real love doesn't require you to disappear or stay silent. You can create an amazing relationship where you're seen, supported, safe, you feel cherished and adored, but only when you stop abandoning yourself first. If this spoke to you, then check out last week's episode about this is what happens when you care too much. And I want you to know you are not too much. And you're not asking for too much. Okay. You've just been stuck in this pattern that's no longer serving you. And healing begins the moment that you stop giving yourself away. You can become the badass you've always wanted to be, punch fear in the face, live life on your own terms, and attract the kind of real love that actually deserves you.